Every good business leader knows you need to understand your market, but what does understanding your market really mean? And what do you need to find out? In this video, I'll be answering those two very important questions so you can ensure that you understand your market well enough to better connect, engage, and convert them into loyal clients and even raving fans. Hi, my name is Darran Hughes, founder of Vision to Value, and welcome to the first in a series of 5 videos on the key client acquisition and business development components for professional, tech, creative, and business services focused micro, small, and medium enterprises. You see, most professional, tech, creative, and business services, SME companies, are experts at their speciality and think they know their market. But knowing is not enough, and nowhere near as powerful as understanding when it comes to attracting, engaging, and converting new clients. In this comprehensive 20-minute, pure coaching, no pitching video, I'll be sharing with you 5 key components of understanding your market and what you need to find out and include in your marketing and sales messages to demonstrate empathy, build trust quickly and effectively so they're more open to your offer. So, are you ready to begin? Great, switch off the distractions, have a pen and paper to hand, pause this video now if you need to get one, and make yourself comfortable as I introduce you to what may be a completely new perspective in how you view your market. Let's start with a quick story. I won't name names, but while representing a financial services client a few years ago back, I was looking for a very specific business solution for them and reached out to one of the biggest providers in the market. That unseasonably hot June afternoon, I met their regional sales manager in Cardiff city centre and over an iced latte told him exactly what I wanted and needed, that I was ready to buy, and I simply was looking to ensure that they could provide it within our budget. I then spent the next 30 minutes or more painfully dragging him defiantly back to answering my 2 simple questions while he robotically reeled out everything else that they did from his presentation board and I could have for the same price. Eventually, they came to the solution I actually needed and it matched perfectly. Unfortunately, by that time, my faith in their ability to both understand and service my clients' need had dropped so low, I was already lining up with a conversation with a local competitor who we eventually went with. The point being that while he had knowledge that I was a fit as a client profile, he completely failed to understand what I needed, what my values were, what drivers I might have, and what I was looking for in a supply relationship. And while things like market demographics are a starting point when it comes to targeting, it's the psychological, emotional, and practical profile of your ideal client that should determine how you engage and convert that particular market. While I'll be going through each one in a little more detail, in short, there are 5 key elements required to effectively define and understand your market, being 1. Demographics, 2. Psychographics, 3. Suitability, 4. Buying journey, and 5. Key people. Number 1, demographics. This is what many SMEs start and sadly end with in terms of understanding their target market. Typically include the sector, so things like manufacturing, transport, business services. Then a subsector, things like automotive parts, taxi services, or accounting. Then location and size of the company, say Southwest UK, 50 plus staff, turnover more than 500,000. Then a contact role and position, someone like a procurement manager or a senior director. And while these are great as broad targeting profiles and easily applied to digital ad campaigns and prospect list sourcing, they can still leave you with wide exposure, meaning you'll end up in the eye line but not necessarily saying the right thing at the right time and getting any engagement. Now, at this level of sophistication, marketing is a numbers game and can be quite costly one at that. Which means you need deep pockets, deep enough to cover the breadth of target audience and any time lag before you hit a prospect when they are looking for your service. But, as I'll explain later when I talk about buying journey, when they are looking, they're also looking elsewhere amongst your competitors. Number 2, psychographics. Usually considered the domain of the marketing agency in larger budgets, psychographics may sound very clever, but it's not anywhere near as complicated as some sources make out. Psychographics is simply the information around what's going on for your client intellectually and emotionally at that time. While there is some excellent research and applications for applying psychographic analysis, the simplest and most cost-effective way is to just ask the right questions of your existing clients. Or if you're just starting out, imagine what the answers might be if you were in their shoes. A word of caution here though, what you imagine may not be accurate and will never be as valuable as asking your market. Key questions would include, but are not limited to, what's important to them in life? Answers could be family time, wealth and success, their long-term future, taking risks for quick wins, the environment, or just their boss's praise. Second question, what are they likely not to like? Maybe that's time wasting, poor quality, too much information, not enough detail, people who can't spell, or just poor listeners. What are they most likely to prefer? Do they prefer cheap and cheerful, robust and reliable, a friendly approach, formal proposals, headline facts, evidence of your claims, or do they rely on gut instinct and personality? What impact would they be concerned about? Possibly whether their staff like your solution. Can it be integrated? How long before they see the results? Will there be user support? What will their board think? Are you crazy? What outcome do they want to experience as a result of using your solution? Maybe the project was delivered on time and within budget. It does what it promised. Faster reporting times, more efficient staff, reduced operating costs, top marks on their appraisal for the adoption. You see, while you may be joyfully extolling the features and functions of your solution and service, your potential buyer is evaluating them and you against a set of values and beliefs which filter their perspective, and more critically, project into the future the impact and results of buying it from you. While they might be interested in how it works, they care about what life will be like because of it. So if you don't understand them enough to preempt, mitigate, or counter those stories they'll be creating in their mind, you're completely at the mercy of their mindset and their mood. On the other side of that coin, when you are the one talking about those future conditions and experiences, you come across as a mind reader. And that level of empathy is the key to opening the door to trust. Number 3, suitability. While a prospect might meet your demographic target and you have their psychographic profile totally locked down, some prospects just won't be suitable. A potential client, yes, but suitable, maybe not. Suitability is a challenging consideration because it requires you to let go of the need for a sale and to consider the impact of that sale on both you and them. That impact can be commercial, practical, or psychological, such as, can they actually afford your service or solution? Do you want to put them under that much pressure? Can you profitably deliver it? Do you want to put yourself under pressure? Do they have the resources and means to adopt your solution? Do you have the resources and means to deliver it? Failing to deliver is a bitter pill to swallow for a client. Will their adoption and experience using your solution be a favorable one? Will your process and experience providing it will be a favorable one? Are you confident that they will use your selection correctly, ethically, or even legally? Do you believe that at the end of it, their experience will be so positive they will become advocates of your solution or service? So if we're talking about pre-sale understanding of your market, what does this post-sales information have to do with it? Well, you've heard the phrase, the buyer beware. Well, there's no such thing as seller beware after the fact. You see, you and your solution will not be judged, rightly or wrongly, based on its functioning. The judgment is one of experience and impact of that function. And even while a client may realize, if not actually admit, a negative experience or impact caused was theirs, not yours, it will still taint their willingness to praise or promote you or your solution. And as in recruitment, the absence of a reference is often considered as bad as a poor one. In short, understand the type of client or their circumstances which is unlikely to provide a positive experience or impact, and avoid them. Sometimes the revenue just isn't worth the longer term cost of pain or dissatisfaction, and a bad review reaches 10 times as many people as a good one. Number 4, buying journey. From my experience, this is one of the most underused and most valuable pieces of marketing understanding there is. Quite simply, most professional tech, creative or business services SMEs who don't have the skill in-house or are not using experienced marketing agencies are trying to sell their solutions or services before they sell themselves. And doing so at a point in the buying journey where the client is actively looking at other providers. Why are you doing that? Because mostly you just don't understand the internal buying journey that goes on in a prospect's head and sometimes practically within an organization. That's even if you're aware that such a thing as a buying journey review exists. So what is it? The buying journey is a roadmap that a client takes before, during, and after they have bought a solution or service. Most marketing messaging and sales activity is targeted during the ready to buy stage, where the client already knows the kind of solution they want and decided whom they're going to choose from and it's likely those with bigger marketing budgets and more visibility. By which time, they might not have actually chosen the right solution for them, or the most suitable providers. The point in the buying journey where you should be focusing your efforts is before the buying stage. Sounds counterintuitive, right? Why would you market before someone is ready to buy? Because that's when they are focusing on the problem that drives the need for a solution. It's when they are looking for answers and not services. It's where they are open to new ideas and suggestions, and where you can build a relationship and trust that makes you a contender before they start looking for the solution. There's also going to be fewer providers trying to market or sell to them, although that is changing. More importantly, when you understand what's going on for them before they are looking to buy, you can position yourself as a source of expertise and answers, show empathy and upfront value, and begin a relationship before most of the competition has even been considered. Depending on the client's procurement rules, they might not even bother to consider the others if they trust you and the value enough. There's still more to gain from understanding the rest of the buying journey, of course. I'm not saying don't do that in terms of things like upsells and cross-sells, but just understanding this first stage can make a huge difference. Number 5, key people. You've isolated your demographic market, you understand them at a psychographic level, you've filtered out those who are not suitable, and you're positioning yourself earlier in the buying journey. It cannot fail now, can it? Yes, because even the smallest business client rarely works in isolation. There will always be other people involved in the process, to some degree or another at least, and understanding who they are and their role in that buying process is important. They're broadly split into 4 types. But please note that one individual can be more than one type at any one time. More than one individual can be the same type, and either type may change along the buying journey. The following examples will help to clarify it. So the first one is the problem solution owner, the person responsible for understanding the problem or need and then finding a solution. These are usually your primary contact and the person who looks after an area or function where this problem or solution is needed. The beneficiary, the person who has then directly experienced the problem or is impacted by the solution. A good example here would be, while a property director might be a problem solution owner of a refurbishment, it's the staff in the office or the visiting public that benefited from it and then judge it as a success or not. Then we have the influencer, the person who through role, responsibility or speciality has a direct influence on what the solution is, how it is applied or how much they will spend. The obvious example would be a financial controller authorizing spend levels or a head of IT requiring digital systems to meet certain cybersecurity standards. Finally, the decision maker, the person who ultimately approves the purchase and adoption of a service or solution. While they might not be directly involved in the problem or the solutions looked at or even directly benefit from them, they have some final say in what is done or not done. Depending on the circumstances, this might be a financial director or an MD or a CEO whose responsibility is that of ensuring whatever is chosen is of a positive impact and not a negative one. The thing to remember here is that this isn't about who they are, but what their role in the buying process is, and ensuring that your marketing message, your sales process, your conversion strategies take them into account. If your client is a solo or micro business, she could of course hold all 4 roles, and that doesn't mean to say she thinks only about one of them when she's making the decision. I recall last autumn I'd been engaging with a problem solution owner, a BDM in a micro consultancy, looking to increase leads generated, who was totally on board with buying my perfect proposition blueprint or PPP solution, but who I knew was dealing with an MD who couldn't make the distinction between sales and marketing, and basically had an unrealistic expectation of a small team that were by nature closers, salespeople, not lead generators. So part of my own engagement and conversion strategy was to create an advisory sheet targeted at MDs with that perspective and to demonstrate not just the distinction, but the value in working with, not against that distinction. So did I get my PPB gig? No, but the team did get a new digital lead generator role, and I got the gig of writing the job spec, contributing the candidate selection and coached them during their onboarding. So does that make sense? Knowing how those 4 functions fit into the buying process means you can preempt and overcome any potential objections and demonstrate that you really understand them as a potential client. It also means that you can work out how to help your primary contact to overcome objections that they might be experiencing internally, and then further enhancing your own position as a trusted ally. So with each of these 5 key elements in place to truly understand your market, you go beyond the limitation of trying to sell features and functions in a competitive market, to demonstrating a near psychic empathy, to providing upfront value and support, to building trust as an expert authority, helping them to define the right solution or service, being identified as a solution before your competition is, and developing a relationship that makes you preferred, not just considered as a provider. In short, you stop trying to sell it and instead start helping them to buy you. So I hope you found value in this video, which you are free to like and share as you please, of course. And if you have any observations or questions, I'd love to see them in the comment boxes below. Don't forget, this video is part of a larger series I'm developing called Key Client Development Components, which also includes videos on subjects like creating and matching your compelling proposition. So third video is consistently delivering your engaging message. Fourth one is comprehensively structure and escalate your value. And finally, continually preempting and excelling your service. So if you'd like to see those when they're released, make sure you subscribe to this channel and click on the notifications bell. Likewise, if you have any specific need or are interested in finding out more about what Vision to Value does and how it can help you transform your business growth vision into real value, and just click on one of the information and contact links I placed in the video description below, and we'll take it from there. See you again soon.